We got news that there is this tape or even tapes where Trump has admitted allegedly that he knew the rules about classification, that he had a classified document in his possession, and that he allegedly said that he would not show it to somebody or release it because he had not gone through the process of declassifying it and he could no longer do so. If that's the case, I think he's in a lot of legal trouble. But I kind of feel like this is, like I get a lot of crap to this day about like the Hunter Biden laptop garbage and all that kind of thing for not leaping into the narrative that largely turned out to be true. I mean, of the people, the New York Post leapt on the Hunter Biden laptop story, and it turned out to be largely what they purported it to be. I don't think it proves the Biden crime family stuff and all of that. If it did, that laptop has been in the possession of, right-wing activists, operatives for a very long time. If there was really a smoking gun on there, it would have been leaked out or released or whatever already. But my position was, let's have a little skepticism here. Turned out, I still think that that's a perfectly legitimate and defensible thing to say. But it turned out, that the laptop was what it was purported to be. I still think the story of how Rudy Giuliani got it is sketchy. And and that's the thing I get the most grief for, is for saying, was it to Jim Treacher, that I thought it was weird to take the story of the provenance of that thing at face value. Nothing new has come out in a while, so it's probably one of those, really weird things that turns out to be actually what happened. But I would not at all be surprised to find out that there's more to that story down the road. Anyway, I kind of feel like the similar skepticism, even though it's contrary, to my biases and my priors, I'm trying to be honest and consistent about this. I think getting out over your skis on this story, it may in fact I find it utterly plausible, right? But until we actually hear the tape, or we actually hear from someone who has heard the tape rather than hear from reporters who talk to people who allegedly have heard the tape, we should just sort of withhold judgment, because it's not like the media didn't get way out over its skis a bunch of times with the Russia stuff before. And I guess this is a good point for me to address this thing that happened a couple of weeks ago. After, what was it? After the Durham report came out, somebody found a clip of me on ABC's This Week saying how if you're, I haven't even watched the clip, but the quote from it was, if it's Jim Comey's word against Donald Trump's word, I think Comey wins 10 times out of 10. My recollection was I was making a political point about who had more credibility with the public. But regardless, I stand by that. Doesn't mean that Trump is always wrong about things, but I think Trump has no credibility. I think Trump is a fundamentally dishonest guy who admits to how he lies. He has lied a lot about the Mar-a-Lago documents stuff. And the only reason I know that he's lied a lot is not because I know exactly what happened, but he has offered so many different explanations that if one of them is true, the other ones have to be lies. He lies as a matter of strategy. He lies as a matter of course. He's, and I can't tell you how many times I wrote about how Bill Clinton lies constantly. Donald Trump is the only politician I know of who lies more than Bill Clinton did. He lies more than Joe Biden does. And Joe Biden lies a lot. He lies about his past. He makes up stories. And again, this is not about his alleged or real senility or anything like that. He's been lying and making up stuff his entire political career. But still, I think Trump's credibility is terrible. Now, I was never a huge Comey guy, but it turns out that Comey's credibility is even worse than I thought it was back in 2017 or something. That's fine. Happy to admit that. Turns out he was much more of a hack than I thought. I think it's really funny. He's now doing novels. And I think the funny part is not that it's free to do novels. I think it's kind of sad that he's can't really find work or is, in the law. But like title of his first novel is Upper West Side, which is just so on the nose for his actual core constituency. That I just kind of think it's funny. But anyway, I don't want to, people on this podcast don't like hearing about Twitter grief I get, but my God, did I get a lot of Twitter grief. I mean, people were hoping my dogs got hit by cars. People were, just losing their minds attacking me for, 48, 72 hours. And part because I refused to back down. I got put on, my response to everybody was what I just told you. I don't back off on it. I stand by it. But all these people, one of the problems is you get a lot of people who just lump you in a category with other people without knowing the specifics of my own position. And my own position always was, I was always kind of like hands off, not following closely the whole Russia collusion stuff. Go back and show me where I really got all bought into that stuff. Where, and let me help you out before you start sending me stuff that I don't think rebuts what I just said. My position from very early on was, I think it's possible that Trump is up to no good with Putin. I mean, I don't think it's a matter of character. It's something that he wouldn't do. I don't think it's, and we know from the Trump Tower meeting, I remember writing a big corner post about how, I had remained agnostic until this moment. And I still don't know what the larger story is, but my position was, we now know at least that they were willing to collude with Russia in some way because they had that meeting and like they said they wanted to collude with Russia about stuff, and they were disappointed when it wasn't the kind of dirt that they were hoping to get. James Lott, the guy who, the more guns, less crime guy, he attacked me, impugned my integrity last week or 2 weeks ago, said that, he had this incredibly idiotic insult where you said, because it started because he was outraged that I didn't believe Trump's explanation that when he asked Russia to hack Hillary's emails, he was just joking. And that thing has been so gone over. Go watch the video. He repeats it. The audience doesn't laugh. He subsequently defended the statement. He defended the practice of taking foreign stuff. It was not a joke. He called it a joke every now and then when he thought it was getting in trouble if people took it seriously. But he does that about all sorts of things where he just claims he was joking. It was, anyway, I think Lott beclowned himself with the whole thing, but he was just attacking my integrity, saying that like, he was like, I guess you care more about having an LA Times column than telling the truth or something like that, which I just thought was this remarkable bit of projection. It's the kind of thing that it's the kind of way he thinks about how he behaves in the world, and just assume in sort of like foreign policy mirroring kind of thing, assumes that that's how I think about it. I've had my LA Times column for almost coming up on 20 years, I guess. I mean, since 2007. So a little, not quite 20 years but more than 15. Anyway, people went nuts about it. And, the fact is that, like Trump is a man of incredibly low integrity. He's dishonest. The fact that Comey turned out to be more dishonest than or than some people had him pegged all along. My wife worked at the DOJ around the same time as Comey. I know lots of people who are at the DOJ with Comey. A lot of my right-wing friends have never liked Comey, going back to the days with Ashcroft, and the death, and the hospital bed, confrontation thing. They always thought he was a showboater. That's one of the reasons why I was never all invested in Comey. But anyway, I can't remember what point I was going to try and finish there, so I apologize for that. But all I'm saying on the Trump tape is, just wait and see. If if Smith has got him dead to rights, it's kind of weird that they're leaking all this stuff. Because usually you leak stuff like this to make up for the fact that you don't have him dead to rights.